welcome to the White Glove demo for Settlers of the Stone Age, a game so epic that the turns span millennia, and the game chronicles the expansion of humanity around the globe. Glover, that's no way to attract players for a game. Besides, you're going to hurt yourself. A player wins Settlers of the Stone Age by accumulating 10 victory points. This happens when players build new camps and assimilate tribes, are the first to accomplish certain feats, or create timeless works of art. Settlers of the Stone Age begins around 100,000 years ago, as early modern humans began venturing out of Africa. Using the basic setup, each player starts with 3 camps, an explorer, an overview card, and 1 each of the hide and bone resource cards. Next, place tribe counters on the hex intersections. The color of the tribe counter matches the color of the intersection on the board. In a 3-player game, don't put tribe counters on intersections without triangles. Next, place the exploration counters. After sorting the counters by Roman numeral and shuffling them, place the counters on spaces with the same Roman numeral. Place the Neanderthal and saber-toothed tiger figures on opposite sides of the Siberian land bridge. Finally, we need to set up the 4 technology progress charts. Place the corresponding art card on the 5th space of each chart and place 1 of each player's progress markers on the starting space of each chart. Each turn in Settlers of the Stone Age, the active player rolls to produce resources. Hills produce meat, plains produce bones, mountains produce flint, forests produce hides. Starting with the youngest player, yes, Glover, you're younger than me, so you get to go first. No, Glover, I don't remember crossing the Siberian land bridge. Just take the dice and play. When the dice are rolled, all camps next to a space with that number produce the corresponding resource. Glover rolled a 6, so these 3 camps each receive a bone resource card produced by this plains hex. If the active player rolls a 7, no one collects resources. Instead, the active player may move the Neanderthal to any hex in Eurasia or Africa. That space no longer produces resources when its number is rolled. All players with more than 7 resource cards must choose half of their cards, rounded down, to discard. And the player who moved the Neanderthal can steal a random card from any player with a camp bordering that space. After rolling for resources, the active player may trade resources. Yes, Glover, I'll trade you a flint resource for your meat. After trading, players can take as many actions as they want, as long as they have enough resources. By spending the resources shown on the overview card, a player can advance on one of the 4 progress charts. Glover can spend a flint to advance 1 level on the progress chart. He can then spend a bone resource to advance to the 2nd level. The active player can spend meat to move an explorer. 1 meat card allows an explorer to move 2 intersections, plus the level of advancement on the food progress chart. By spending a meat resource, White could move his explorer 2 intersections, but Glover can move his red explorer 4 intersections for the same meat resource, since he has advanced further along the food progress chart. An explorer may move past another camp or explorer, but must land on an empty intersection. By spending 1 meat and 1 hide resource, a player can create a new explorer if he has an unused explorer token. When the explorer is on an intersection with a tribe counter, a player can spend a bone, a hide, and a flint card to convert an explorer to a camp and take the tribe counter for a victory point. If a player has no remaining camp tokens, he must remove a camp from Africa. If he has no camps left in Africa, he may remove any camp. The higher levels on the food progress chart let you move farther. Higher levels on the clothing and construction progress charts let you pass through special areas. Every time you advance on the hunting progress chart, you may move the Neanderthal or the saber-toothed tiger. When the Neanderthal moves, it's the same as when a player rolls a 7, except that no one has to discard. The saber-toothed tiger is the same as the Neanderthal, but can only move in the Americas or Australia. You can take as many actions as you want as long as you have the resources to spend. Some areas have special requirements for movement. To move between these intersections, an explorer must progress to a certain technological level. White numbers indicate the clothing level the player must achieve, while black numbers indicate the construction level the player must achieve. To pass this box, a player must have researched shoes, while to pass this box, a player must have researched clothing clasps and tallow lamps. If a player meets the requirements and passes the requirement box, he takes the exploration counter. When an exploration counter has a picture of a terrain type, the active player places a desert hex over a hex with that terrain type in Africa. That tile no longer produces resources. If the exploration counter shows enemies, the active player may move either the Neanderthal or the saber-toothed tiger. Each continent other than Africa has an exploration counter with a colored dot that gives the player a card worth 1 victory point. There are 2 conditions worth 2 victory points apiece. The first player to get at least one of each type of tribe counter gets the expansion card. The player with the most exploration counters gets the exploration card. You need at least 2 counters. Players can also get points by advancing along the progress charts. The first player to advance to level 5 on each chart gets to take that progress chart's art card, worth a victory point. Players continue to explore and assimilate new tribes until one player has amassed 10 victory points. That's how you play Settlers of the Stone Age. Glover, watch out!